What up? What up? What up? Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday to you all. Hope everybody's having a great day. Um, I need to because every time I go live and I talk about my other channel, people always inbox me and say, "What's the link to your other channel?" So I thought everybody knew, which clearly you don't, because I only have 500 subscribers on the other channel, and we got 15,000 over here. So let me link. I should have done that already. My apologies. Let me link the chat. Link the channel at the top. Hey, everybody coming in. So we're here to talk about Married to Medicine, season 10, episode 10. I think it's 1010. What up, Cookie? Hey, Corey, Carol, Natty. What's up, Kenya, Keisha, Carol, Amber, Mamiana, Nitwit. Thank you, Nitwit, for being on the other channel. I can tell that you're on the other channel, and I appreciate that. Hey, Carol. Hey, Amber. If I didn't speak to you, hey, Lemon Kush Boo. If I didn't speak to you, charge it to my head and not my heart. I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna pin that link in the I'm gonna pin that link in a second. I don't have the, as you can tell, I don't have the lights on. So if it's too dark, you guys let me know. I'll turn the lights on. I didn't realize I didn't have the lights on when I hit the live button. I've been as you can see, I'm home. We had a virtual day today, but it was for us to turn grades in, baby. And I've been finishing up my grades today. So let's get into this Married to Medicine situation. Now I already had people telling me last night, oh, it was boring. This episode was boring. I don't think this episode was boring. I think this episode got back to the basics. Um, you know what, Corey? You told me that before. I have to remember to do it. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I have to remember to do that to link my other channel. Thank you. I have to remember to do that. I I'm not gonna say, yeah, I know I'm trying to get away from certain adjectives. I'm trying to get away from filler and whatever, whatever. But I don't think this was a boring episode. I just think that this episode, like I said, Married to Medicine has always been different because there's always been a message to the madness with Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine always gave you a good balance of the mess with the message. I mean, we know that season one, they had a whole physical altercation on season one. So I'm not going to say that they're, excuse me, excuse me. I'm not going to say that they're above the mess. Let's not be, that ain't what I'm saying. Let's be clear. But um, but there's a method to the madness. So let's get into this episode. So we start this episode off with Toya meeting up with Dr. Simone. Um, I just feel like I will be saying the same thing I've already said about Dr. Simone. About Toya and her husband. They're having this conversation about her saying that Eugene just doesn't get it. He doesn't want to plan a date night. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't do that. And Simone, your friend, is telling you, first of all, she's telling you what you need to hear. She's like, look, girl, your husband planned a date for you and it wasn't good enough. Then she is letting you know what your husband said to her husband, right? So her husband already broke code by telling his wife. And now his wife is breaking code by telling you, but she's trying to tell you to try to help you. And what she's telling you is, look, your husband said he's scared to plan anything because every time he plans something, you're so critical. So at this point, he just wants you to plan it so you know you're doing something you want to do, because every time he plans something, it's just not good enough. You're too critical of it. And at this point, he tired. And Toya, you're not hearing. One minute you say that Eugene used to plan these dates that was so enlightening and he used to feed you, feed your intellect. And then you complain that y'all's last trip to South Carolina, he took you on a carriage ride where they told you about the history of the city and you didn't give a F because you hate history. Girl, you got to make it make sense. Now, was it because you were in South Carolina? And he said that he took you to South Carolina because that was something that was always on y'all bucket list. So y'all probably went somewhere like Charleston, because y'all went to Savannah before, or with y'all did a trip to Savannah. So I don't think it was Savannah. Y'all probably went somewhere like Charleston. And Charleston is full of history, right? And I know I'm a history nerd, and I understand that everybody don't love history like I love history. So I respect that. But when your friend, now this your friend in real life, this ain't for the show. You and Dr. Simone hang out in real life. We see it all over social media. When y'all are not filming, y'all are hanging out. Y'all husbands are friends in real life. Your friend is trying to tell you, girl, your husband said he's scared to plan something for you because it's never good enough. And what did you proceed to do? Complain about your birthday that he planned for you last year and complain about the date that he planned for you. And then you said, well, I think that's why I was so upset, because I thought about what life would be like when the kids were gone. And, basically she stopped short of saying, I was scared because when the kids are gone, I'm scared of where that's going to leave us. I feel like that's where that conversation was going, but you're not listening. You're not hearing yourself. So, I mean, I don't wish bad on nobody, and I certainly don't wish, a demise of a relationship with anybody. But Toya, you really need to listen and hear and adjust. And then even they were talking about people changing, and Dr. Simone said everybody has to evolve and change. And she was like, well, I just think Eugene is stuck. No, Eugene's not stuck. You're stuck. Because I feel like Eugene was trying to evolve and change. You're stuck. All right. So that was the first scene. And honestly, I don't think Simone got through to Toya. I just don't. I don't think Simone got through to Toya. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think Toya. I just think both of them waiting for them kids to grow up. And I hate to say it like that. I just think both of them waiting for them kids to grow up. But anyway, Toya is hard to satisfy, as evident by how many homes you lived in. I just think Toya is hard to satisfy. I don't know what it is that she's well, part of Toya's problem is she's keeping up with the Joneses. And you're never going to be satisfied as long as you're chasing somebody else's dreams. Let's just call a thing a thing. If I'm always worried about what the next person has and I'm chasing what they have, I'm never going to be satisfied because I'm chasing somebody else's dream. I'm not chasing my own. If I want a Porsche because the neighbor has a Porsche and I get me a Porsche, what happens when they get a Maserati? What happens when they get a Lamborghini? You know what I'm saying? If I want a whatever square foot home because everybody else wants then when I get that type of a home, now what? Because it was never my dream. I'm chasing somebody else's idea of happiness. You know what I'm saying? Maybe driving a Tesla is what makes you happy, but because everybody in the neighborhood got a Porsche, now you done went and bought a Porsche. You was happy with your Tesla or whatever. Moving on. Ooh, Kenya said this season with Toya makes me wonder about the cheating rumors. Ooh. Toya is the person we thought Quad was. Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh. I saw Eugene out without Toya. Ooh, Ravine to tell. Was he with another woman? I mean, him being out without his wife, I don't care about that. Was he with another woman? Tell you what, I don't put cheating past nobody, but I think Eugene 100% understands the position that he's in. I think Eugene knows that he is recognizable. I think Eugene, I think all of them men learned from Cecil's lesson. I mean, yeah, was it Cecil? Not Cecil. What's Dr. Jackie's husband name, child? I don't know why I always want to call that man. He looked like a Cecil to me. I don't know why I always want to call that man a Cecil. I guess he just looked like a Cecil. But neither here nor there. I think they all learned from Jackie's husband's name. I mean, what Jackie's husband got caught. Curtis. Thank you, Curtis. I don't know why he just looked like a Cecil to me. I always want to call him Cecil. But anyway, I think that he has learned. So I'm not saying he was with a group of women and men. So right, so those are probably people he worked with. So, and that don't mean he ain't messing with somebody. I'm not saying he is, but I'm just giving y'all an example. He could be right, but he's smart enough to do a group. So if somebody sees him and somebody screenshots it and posts it, he could be like, "Come on, Toya, you know that so and so and so and so from work. You know I told you we was going out for drinks. Now that don't mean he ain't double back. You know what I'm saying? But if he's smart, he know. Eugene's been working out, getting healthy, lifting weights. He's getting prepared for that next woman. Let me tell y'all know y'all done seen it happen. But moving on. What's up, Mr. Willie Brown? How you doing? So next we see Dr. Heavenly. We see TS Madison. Now this scene was clearly a planned scene. It didn't even flow naturally. It was clear. Now, do I think that T.S. Madison is really a patient of Dr. Heavenly? Of course I do. I think she absolutely is really a patient. But the whole, now before I do your mouth, I just want to thank you, now talk to me again about your community and what it is y'all want. Now, do I think it's a needed conversation? Absolutely. Do I think more people need to understand what trans looks like, how that plays out in our community, the plight of trans people, and absolutely. But it was clear that was the point of that conversation. Like, it just didn't flow. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like a normal conversation. Now, I don't know how they could have worked that into her getting an implant. I don't know. But was it a needed conversation? Yes. Was it a natural conversation? No. You see what I'm saying? But y'all know I love my TS. I love my TS. And shout out to TS Madison and congratulations. She closed on her new house today. She posted that on social media. For those of you who follow her on social media like I do, you know that she has been looking for a house for a while now. She's been shopping. She's posted a couple of videos of her looking at different homes. I doubt she's gonna post a lot about her new home anytime soon, only because her last house was so accessible. People knew where it was. People knew so much about it. I feel like she's gonna probably keep this one close to the vest, but I don't know. TS does live her life out loud, so maybe not. Knowing TS, she probably in a damn gated community and don't care no more. Okay. I wonder if TS is going to keep that old house. It's got to be damn near paid for. I wonder if she's going to keep the house she has now and just maybe rent it out. I mean, she's got that full studio in the basement. She put that pool. I mean, she may have done the pool just to increase the value of the home. I don't know. If I were TS, I probably wouldn't hold on to the house. I would probably either sign it over to a family member that needs a house, or I would sell it. I probably would not. That's not the kind of real estate I would bother with. If my career was doing what TS's career is doing, I would probably invest in commercial property so much as like day-to-day landlord property. I don't know if I would. I honestly don't think I would. But anyway, what does TS Madison do? She's an actress. She's an actress. She's been on a lot of stuff lately. She's been doing a lot of work lately. She's a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. She just won an Emmy for RuPaul's Drag Race. She's a judge. She started off in porn, but she had a very popular YouTube show. Excuse me. She had a very popular YouTube show with Kaya, the Queen's Court, and then it was the Queen's Supreme Court, and then it just kind of went from that. So yeah, we're going to get to that, Des. I find that to be interesting too, but we're going to get to that in a second. So after that, we had, I felt like something happened after that. Wait a minute. I ain't take good notes. Hold on. No. Then we had Dr. Jackie meeting with a patient, and we had Dr. Simone meeting with a patient at the same time. And I agree with you. I agree with what you guys are saying in the chat about this whole Ozempic conversation. Now we'll say this though. I did get some information I'm gonna have to call my doctor about, because they were talking about Ozempic. They had both of their patients were dealing with weight issues, and one patient was a cancer survivor, and she was dealing with her blood pressure and her gaining weight. The other patient was coming off of Ozempic because she wanted to get pregnant. But they were also talking about semaglutide. Semaglutide is what I'm taking. Well, I had stopped, but I'm literally waiting for the delivery today because I'm starting it back today. But I had stopped taking it back in August, I think I was. But semaglutide is not as expensive as Ozempic, and it wasn't created directly for diabetes. Ozempic was created specifically for diabetes, but they found it was an effective weight loss drug. And so now a lot of people are using it for weight loss, and there is a backlog. There is a backlog because my doctor actually did prescribe me Wegovy, and she told me, she said, there's a backlog. She was like, you ain't gonna get this no time soon, but we thought my insurance would cover it. It ended up not covering it. That's a whole nother conversation. But in the interim, it has still been like 4 or 5 months, right? So I do find it very interesting that both doctors had a conversation about Ozempic. I do find it very interesting that we saw both doctors prescribing it. Now, the reason why I say it was interesting for me, because now I need to call my doctor and see if my insurance will cover semaglutide. Because if my insurance will cover semaglutide, that would be a good thing for me. And it worked for me. Like I don't think it was as aggressive as Wegovy or Ozempic. Like I feel like I probably would have lost more weight, but I lost some weight, and I haven't put it back on. Knock on wood. I can't drop the link, Katrina. I dropped the link. What did you want to say? You use the same as me, Symmetry. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna see if my doctor will find out if my insurance, because I didn't realize semaglutide was something that doctors were prescribing because of how I got it. So a lot of people still don't understand what it is and why it's so popular. Yeah, my flex spending. Yeah, I can use my flex spending. Well, let me not say that. I need to ask about that too, because I didn't try to use flex spending last year, but I damn sure gonna try it this year. Well, so Jeff, I don't know what your flex spending is working for you. I don't know what people aren't understanding. Like, I'm glad that they explained it, but I mean, yeah, that's what it is. So it's effective. There are some yeah, it's about $274, right? Which is a lot cheaper than Wegovy, but if my insurance will cover it, it'll only be $30, maybe $20. So that's about what I'm paying now. Actually, I'm paying a little bit more than that now. But if I can get my doctor to prescribe it, I didn't think semaglutide by itself could be prescribed. I didn't think so either, Nitwit. But when they said it last night on the show, that's why I'm gonna call my doctor and find out about it. My aunt was on a diabetic weight loss drug like Ozempic, and she was over 400 pounds down to 260. Yeah, it's very effective. It is very effective. But the problem is, again, now it's out of stock because so many people are using it. And then for people who have the money, it's expensive. Ozempic without insurance is like $1,600 a pop, and that's for like a month supply. That's expensive. Like I can't afford that. Now if my insurance is gonna cover it, that's another conversation. But I can't afford $1,600 a month. I ain't got that kind of money that I don't have. But rich people, that's why we see so many celebrities using Ozempic. They can afford that. You know what I mean? They can afford $1,600 a month on their medicine. So anyway, well, but I meet the criteria. That's what I'm saying, Katrina. I have high blood pressure and I'm obese, but my insurance wouldn't cover it. Anyway, that's a child. I don't want, that's the kind of stuff we talk about in members only. Let me get back to this. Okay, but I take a small dose at $40 a shot. I got a weight loss clinic and get the shot every 2 weeks instead of weekly. Okay, yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about it. We can have a separate live about it. I want to get, because I want to finish this up. I think they were not trying to brand name drop, so they were saying semaglutide instead of Ozempic or Wegovy. Well, they said Ozempic though. They said Ozempic a couple of times. You pay $200 for Wegovy. Hey, busy. Yeah. So yeah, if my doctor can prescribe it, that's definitely cheaper than what I'm paying now. I'm paying more than I'm paying more than 200. I'm definitely paying more than $200 a month. But if my doctor can prescribe it, then it's definitely cheaper. Right, $1,600. Like if I had $1,600 laying around every month that I didn't have nothing to do with, I wish I had that kind of money that I could just throw away. Not throw away, because I mean it would be worth it, but I just ain't got it. Okay, I might be able to scrape that together for once every 3 or 4 months, but I couldn't do it every month. Certainly couldn't do it every month. Anyway, child, let's get back to this. So I thought that was interesting. Again, I felt like that was their way of advocating for the medicine. But then they turned around and said how it's backed up and how even diabetics aren't able to get it right now. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting that that was spliced in there. And we saw Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie talking about it. So I just thought that was interesting that both of them were talking about it. Newman said if I had $1,600 a month, they could staple my stomach. Shout. All right. So then we see Toya and Eugene taking the boys to the orthodontist. Again, it was just a cute family scene. Once again, Toya and Eugene are talking about who should be dating who and who should be taking who out on a date. I feel like I've already had that conversation. I don't need to exhaust it. I feel like I've said it. But I do think it could be both. I think it could be half and half, especially when you're a married couple. I planned it this week, you planned it next week. I do think it's important in a relationship, not just a marriage, but in a relationship. I do think it's important that you keep dating each other. I know people get comfortable in relationships and I know life becomes what it is, but I think it's important to keep dating each other. Even if it's a movie, even if it's just a simple dinner, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be helicopter rides over the city. It really could just be me and you sit down, talk without the kids, without the phone, without the TV, and let's just stay connected. And I know that's easier said than done when life be lifing, but I do think that's important. Anyway, but I also think in a city like Atlanta, there is 5,000 things y'all could be doing. But child, that's me. Now we got Sweet Tea and Dr. Gregory going to the doctor to get more information. Now listen, I'm not nobody's doctor and I didn't go to nobody's medical school, so I'm not about to sit here and try to diagnose anyone. However, Sweet Tea, all this stuff didn't just start last week. All this stuff didn't just start last week. You talking about something, you got back pain and your glands are swollen up and you got this and you got that. Ma'am, all that shit didn't just start happening 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, maybe not even 2 years ago. And as a woman who had woman problems, as a woman who, if I had decided I wanted to have children, my doctors had already told me it would be hard for me to conceive. Let me tell you something. My doctor told me that when I was 22 years old. 22 years old, my OBGYN, because I was having some issues and they were running some tests. And my doctor told me then, she said, you thinking about having children? I was like, not no time soon. And she said, okay, well, we're going to do X, Y, Z for now. But when you're ready to start having children, we're going to have another conversation because we're going to have to do some things differently because as it stands, you're going to have a hard time conceiving. They told me that when I was 22. I had just graduated from college. It was maybe within a year. It was within a year of me graduating from college. So I graduated at 21. So I was around 22. So if my doctor told me at 22, based on that, girl, this ain't just start happening. And again, I ain't judging you. That's between you, Dr. Gregory, and which shit is just between you and Dr. Gregory. I mean, you shared it with us, so it's between us, I guess. But at the end of the day, Dr. G is not going to suffer until all this nonsense for much longer. This man wants his baby. He sure do. Hey, Cajun. He sure does. He wants his baby. He wants his baby like yesterday. So from where I sit, my opinion, and it's only that, you add listen, if you take my opinion and you add it with 2 cents, you're going to walk away with 2 cents, okay? But my opinion is this didn't just start. You knew you had these issues. Dr. G know, because he ain't stupid. Now, he might be a lot of things, but he went to medical school just like everybody else went to medical school. Now, he might have only did a rotation with OBGYN, but he know this shit ain't just start. He ain't stupid. And I'm going to leave it there. I ain't even going to say nothing else, child. I'm going to leave it there. As someone who has suffered from endometriosis for more than 2 decades, she had to know. Yeah, like I said, all I'm gonna say is, in my opinion, it ain't just start. It ain't, especially if it's at the point where you gotta have surgery. Moving on. Moving on. I ain't about to. Um, Now I told y'all last week I just don't care no more about this storyline with Toya and her boys. Listen, I'm great. I'm glad. I'm glad that you brought your boys that place. Again, I think this whole situation, now you came in there with a black light because you want to see if they keeping their room clean, and you talking about you looking for semen. It's just too much. Like, you have two young boys. They are doing what two young boys do. They got their own place. Baby, they are doing what two young boys do. That's it. That's all. That's it. And that is all. It was just too much for me. It made me, honestly, it really made me uncomfortable. Like, with her, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I don't know what conversation they had because I fast forwarded. Once they got to the house and they showed us that black light, and she said, I'm going to inspect y'all's rooms. I was done. Oh, I said Toya. I mean Simone. Sorry, y'all. I mean Simone. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. Yeah, to me, that's just. And again, as much as I hate to agree with Carlos, Simone, if that's the only storyline you have, like, that's just not a storyline, right? That's a 1 or 2 episode situation. That you are dragging this out. Like, this is your only storyline this season. Is you putting your churn out the house? Like, that is your only storyline. Anyway. Um, then the rest of the episode, we have the ladies doing their PSA on mother mortality, which I think is a great thing. But again, we talked about this last week, how with everything that sort of happened behind Dr. Jackie coming out and the backlash against Dr. Jackie, I think a lot of this is going to fall flat. It doesn't mean that Jackie's not still working with the vice president. It doesn't mean that Jackie's not going to still do things. I believe all of that's going to still happen. But it just fell flat for me. It just fell flat for me. And I know that's probably, I don't know, but it just fell flat for me. Simone has put in work. She deserves to rest a few seasons. I mean, listen, I'm okay with that too, but this ain't it. I said that. I agree with you, Kim. I said that last week. I said, or I'm either last week or the week before last. I said Dr. Simone then gave it to. She has. Dr. Simone has worked. She gave us her whole marriage. We saw her kids. I mean, hell, we saw her kids struggling. Dr. Simone has given us some stuff, but that just goes back to what I said last week about if, as much as we might like Dr. Simone, and I like Dr. Simone with her goofy self. I like Dr. Simone, but if she doesn't have anything else to give us, it's time to bow out. Become a friend of the show. Sit back and chill. I'm okay with that. And I know that I'm not on the production side, I'm not on the money side of things, but as a viewer, I'm okay with Dr. Simone becoming a friend of and just kind of coming in, dipping her head in, giving us one of them little goofy laughs. And I'm okay with that. I honestly am. Because if that's all she has at this point, do I feel the same for Child? I've been felt that way about Jackie. Listen, I feel like Dr. Simone has given us more than Jackie has. I okay. I don't have no beef with Jackie. I don't dislike Jackie, but Jackie don't do it for me. She all right. I think she's a very talented doctor. I'm sure she is. Um, like, when I think, okay, I would go and have a drink with Dr. Simone. I would sit down and cackle with Dr. Simone. I would definitely go and have a drink with Dr. Heavenly. I would cackle with Dr. Heavenly. I don't know if I would want that same opportunity with Dr. Jackie. You understand what I'm saying? Her personality is just, I don't want a friend that I feel like I can't make a mistake around. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. Jackie may not be that person in real life, but that's how she comes off. I need to be around somebody that I can be goofy, that I can make a mistake. Maybe I pick up the wrong fork. Maybe I don't pronounce a word correctly. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. She just. But you know what, Corey? Jackie gave us Curtis cheating only because she had to. I mean, there was really no way that she could not address it. I mean, to what extent she addressed it, that's another conversation. But there was no way that they could film and Dr. Jackie not address. I mean, it dropped. It was all in the blood. Hell, I wasn't even watching Married to Medicine. And matter of fact, that was the season that happened was my first season. Did I review Married to Medicine then? I don't know if I was even reviewing it then, but I think that's the first season I watched. And I went back and watched season 1 because I said, well, I think I'm going to start reviewing it. So that's why I've never seen all of the seasons, because at the time, now maybe now I could probably go back on Peacock and watch all of the seasons, but back then I could not. I had to pay. Season 1 was on, what app was that? Was it the Bravo app, or was it on demand? Whatever it was, season 1 was free. But I couldn't find season 2, they wanted me to pay for. They wanted me to pay for like season 2, 3, 4. I think maybe like it was like seasons 2, 3, and 4, or something like that. And I was like, I ain't about to pay for this. Like, I'm not getting ready to pay for it. So I went and watched Spill It Boy, James. I went and watched all of his reviews. I just went back and watched his reviews. So I have not seen every season of Married to Medicine. So sometimes when y'all say certain things, I'm not familiar because I didn't watch every season of Married to Medicine. But yeah, so there's that. So while the ladies were filming their PSA, see, this ain't gonna take long. So I ain't got but the men were down to the cigar bar. Oh, the other thing that Dr. Simone talked about was abortion. She talked about the impact of the new laws in Georgia on women in the state of Georgia and her practice and how that affects what's going on with women. They didn't go too deep into it, but they did address it, which I thought was cool. I thought it was cool. The Buffy season changed how I view Dr. Jackie. You know, the Buffy season didn't change because I kind of already had my opinion about Dr. Jackie. My problem with maybe it did. My problem with Dr. Jackie with the Buffy season was how Dr. Jackie responded. My thing is this, and I know that some of this comes with growth. And I said this last night when I was talking about Candace and Robin. Your feelings are valid. Regardless of my intent, regardless of blah, 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 your feelings are valid. I have a problem with the fact that none of those ladies on that cast will validate Buffy's feelings. Because here's the thing. And I didn't agree with everything Buffy did or said. I interviewed Buffy, and Buffy told me, she said, I went back and I watched your video. I watched your reviews. And she said, you used to give it to me sometime. And I mean, we laughed about it. I said, well, I take stuff. And y'all know how I review. I take it episode by episode. I may not agree with you this week. I might agree with you next week, whatever. I didn't agree with everything Buffy said or did in that season. But what unless you show me something, no one is going to change my mind that Buffy was blindsided by Dr. Jackie and what she said. Nobody's going to change my mind. Was Buffy planning on using her fertility issues as her storyline? Absolutely. It was clear. It was clear that she was going to discuss her fertility issues. But did Dr. Jackie blindside them by speaking on it before Buffy spoke on it? I 100% believe that. I 100% believe that. And ain't nobody going to tell me different unless you can show me some behind the scenes footage that shows me differently. I believe that. I believe that Buffy was absolutely blindsided by Dr. Jackie. I do. Now, my problem is when Buffy told you how she felt, y'all, in my opinion, y'all sort of low-key gaslighted her. Just low-key gaslit her. That's how I believe. That's my opinion. And you know, I told y'all, what I told y'all a few minutes ago, you take my opinion and you add 2 cents to it, you're gonna walk away with 2 cents. But that's my opinion. Yeah, but Jackie would apologize, Buffy would accept, and then start all over again. No, that's not true, Xavier. Jackie did not apologize until they were in the Caribbean, wherever they went that year for the couples trip. That is when Dr. Jackie finally apologized, was when they were on that couples trip. And then the way Dr. Jackie apologized was rude as fuck, in my opinion. In my opinion. But neither here nor there. Again, and like I said, I'm not saying that I agree with how Buffy handled everything. But again, you can validate somebody's feelings without agreeing with everything they're saying. See, my feelings are mine. You understand what I'm saying? Right, Kim, at that dinner. And Dr. Jackie was rude. At least the way it was edited. And I can only go by what they showed us. But the way it was edited, Dr. Jackie was rude. And how she apologized. I wouldn't taking that damn apology either. Right, exactly, Kenya. She didn't really apologize. She was just kind of like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. And, you know, you can go your way and I can go my way. But she apologized after that. And then Buffy made her apologize again at the reunion. Okay, and I don't see no problem with that. Because again, first of all, that's what the reunion is for. So we see people do that all the time where they end up apologizing at the reunion 20 times. And they, you know what I mean? People do that all the time. That's what the reunion is for, child. But that's just me. And that's just me. Anyway, moving on. I just, this is how I feel about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Had that been Buffy doing that to Jackie, I bet you people would have a different opinion. If Buffy had made a public speech about Jackie and her fertility issues, even though Jackie had used it, even though we already knew that about Jackie, even though Jackie had spoken on it, I bet you people would have had a different opinion if Dr. Jackie had said, I know that heifer ain't up there telling my business to all this room full of people. I know this heifer ain't up there telling my business to this room full of people. I bet you a lot of people will have a different opinion. People will have a whole different opinion. But that's just me. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Okay. Last but not least, child, we see the guys down to the cigar bar. Now, let me tell you 2 things that bothered me about this scene at the cigar bar. And the sad thing is, because the guys are the auxiliary to the show, we're probably not going to see a deep explanation of it. But right, and why she was so mad. Exactly, Kenya. Exactly. First of all, the guys are ordering drinks. Can we talk for a minute? I got a few minutes. I got to run out here in a few minutes. I got to go pick something up and get back here before the tribe meeting. But I got a few minutes. Can we talk for a minute? Listen. This gonna sound real. This gonna sound real picky on my part, right? And maybe this is why I'm single. I don't know. By the time you are in your 50s, especially as a man, I just feel like if you're a drinker, you should have your drink. I know that might sound crazy. I know that might. Let me tell you something. If I'm out with a guy and we're at a bar If a guy tells me, hey, I'm not much of a drinker, what do you suggest? Okay, I'm cool. I'm cool. But if you at the bar, you should just know what your drink is. So when Gregory sat down and Cecil ordered a Manhattan, and then Gregory was like, oh, I'll take a Manhattan too. And then he gonna ask, that come in a regular size glass, right? I mean, it ain't a fruity drink, is it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, as a man, I just don't think a man should be drinking a fruity drink out of a martini glass. That just don't look right. Then order what the fuck you ordered in. Then why you worried about what Cecil ordering? We know Cecil is a mixologist. He got a whole bar in his basement. Okay. We know Cecil know how to put a drink together. We have seen him do it 5,000 times, right? We know Cecil know what he's doing. And if you notice later on in that scene, Cecil was drinking cognac. I know he was drinking cognac because he was drinking it out of a cognac glass because I know what it looked like because I'm a drinker. Okay. Now, if you're not a drinker, then don't be a drinker. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a drinker, then don't be a drinker. But don't sit here and be questioning me about my drink and then try to insinuate that my drink ain't manly enough when you ordered the same thing I ordered because you don't know whatever the hell else to order because you don't have a drink and you 50-something years old. Now, if you ain't no drinker, that's fine. Then don't be no drinker. But don't come in here questioning what I'm doing. I don't know. I know that sounds crazy, y'all. I know that y'all are like, really, be you tripping? I know. But let me tell you something. If I'm at a bar with a man, it's something that turns me on about a man that can order a drink. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you're not a drinker, that's fine. I'll put you over to the side. Everybody ain't got to be a drinker. But baby, if you sit your ass down at that bar, you better know what the hell you talking about. That turns me on. When I say turn me on, it don't really turn me on like that. But I like it. I like it. If I'm on a date, I like it. If I'm on a date for the first time and we go and we, have a drink and he don't know and he talking about something, is that a fruity drink? I mean, I don't know about that. I ain't trying to order nothing fruity. I don't know. It would turn me off. It would make me feel some kind of way. I'd be like, so I know that's petty, y'all. I know that's petty. But when he said it, it made me be like, what? What? I don't know. I ain't like it. It just made me feel crazy. And then for him to make it almost, I mean, and again, I don't like misogynist microaggressions. That's what that came off to me. That came off as a misogynist microaggression. Does that make sense what I'm saying? That together a bunch of shit that don't make sense. Does that make sense? That came off very, oh, well, I don't know, a man shouldn't be drinking a fruity drink, a colored drink out of a martini glass. What the fuck you talking about? That don't even make no sense. So I don't know. I ain't like it. I just ain't like it. I'm like, why you just, I don't know. It just, yeah. Anyway, spent too much time on that. Then we got this other misogynist over here talking about, because let me tell y'all something. I know, and I know it was edited. I know it was edited. But let me tell you something. I'm sitting here listening to this man, Dr. whoever he is, the new doctor, and when he said something about we need to let our nuts grow or something about cutting our nut. And baby, did you see Dr. Damon? See, y'all keep sleeping on Dr. Damon. I keep telling y'all, Dr. Damon is a rehab dude. I'm telling y'all. I feel like Dr. Damon in college was probably the type of dude that will whoop your ass and ask questions later. I feel like he's gotten older and gentler, and he's probably way to the left because he got a temper. I honestly feel that, y'all. And I ain't saying this to be funny. I honestly feel like that Dr. Damon has a temper, and he keeps it in check, almost like the Hulk. Because did y'all see Dr. Damon say, wait a minute, what you trying to say? He said, you trying to say I ain't got no nuts? Baby, Dr. Damon was ready. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? And you saw how he was like, no. I ain't say that's not what I'm saying. What you saying? Y'all can sit there and let that man double talk y'all if y'all want to, but that man was disrespecting y'all in y'all face. That man was disrespecting y'all in y'all face. He told y'all that y'all was some old pussies that let y'all wife tell y'all what to do. And that he ain't doing that in his house. And that his wife better not get no ideas hanging out with y'all's wives, because that ain't how he runs shit. And then he even went a step further and was like, because in my country, see, women in America, they got too much power. Women in America, I just think the men need to get some of that power. Y'all, he was playing in y'all face. Now, I can respect the fact that y'all ain't cuss him out and y'all ain't go left with it. But that man was playing in y'all face. And he was telling y'all point blank that y'all was some pussies. Now, that's me. That's how I feel about it. My thing is this: run your marriage the way you choose to run your marriage, but don't judge how I run mine, especially if I didn't ask you for your opinion. Ain't nobody at that table ask him about his opinion. Sir, you have been married, I mean, outside of Gregory, but Gregory's on his second marriage. You have been married the least amount of time than anybody at that damn table. You don't get to sit down here and tell me how I need to be running my marriage. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, he handles Dr. Heavenly, because y'all sleep when he put his foot down. Dr. Heavenly know to shut the fuck up. And then Dr. Alicia, that's her name. Thank you for telling me. I see the bottom of her shoes. Yeah, I saw him. I also noticed how she's not really practicing anymore. That woman did not spend all that time going to medical school to not practice, to not be a practicing dentist. I mean, I'm sorry. Y'all medical bills. I mean, y'all school bills. I mean, maybe she got money like that and she paid it outright, but I don't know, y'all. But even his wife doesn't want to run their marriage the way he wants to. Nobody has that type of marriage. No, people do have that type of marriage. People do. But let me tell you something. She, in my opinion, I don't know these people, but in my opinion, she isn't the person you can run like that. That woman got a whole medical degree. That woman is a dentist, and from my understanding, was a successful dentist up here before y'all decided to move to Atlanta. Like, I mean, she loved her husband, you know what I'm saying? And but he was talking a whole lot of ish. And my thing is, again, I don't know if that conversation is going to continue, because that's the second time they showed him kind of, being a little jiggy like that. I don't know if this conversation is going to continue or if that's just going to be all we see. But baby, I'm here to tell you, Cecil, Eugene, Damon, I ain't going to count Dr. Gregory. He don't count. Baby, he was playing in y'all face. Because when Damon checked him, he backed down. But then he started back up again. And he absolutely was telling y'all that y'all was some pussies and he didn't respect the way y'all was running y'all marriage. Now, that's what I took away from it. Now, y'all might have took something different, but that's what I took from it. Now, he don't respect how y'all running y'all marriage and that y'all's a bunch of pussies. Now, that's how I took it. Anyway, that was the episode, y'all. I'm about to get out of here. I ain't talked to El Teddy. I don't know if he's going live today or not. But let me see. I haven't talked to him today. So I don't know if he's going live or not. But I'll be back at 6:45 for a tribe meeting. I'll be back at 6:45, okay? And I will talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.